Hello, football faithful, and welcome back to another episode of Eagles Talk with Deeg. My name is Brendan Deeg. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. You can also rate the podcast and review the podcast wherever you do listen to your podcast. That would also be greatly appreciated. We are talking some Eagles football today with my man, Eagles writer for The Athletic, Zach Berman, is here. Zach, how we doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
No, appreciate you taking time to come on. I know this is bye week's over, so vacation time's over for you. You got to start buckling up for the last stretch of the season. I want to start with some pressing issues with the team. Quez Watkins and Jason Huntley were put on the COVID list yesterday. Quez Watkins is the big one. Any news on Quez Watkins' vaccine status, just because that does affect if he can't play on Sunday? He would have to take 10 days off if he isn't vaccinated. And if he is vaccinated, what is his availability looking like for Sunday?
I don't have firm information on that. I'll find out more from Nick Ciriani on Wednesday. Given the timetable of it, it's obviously not ideal for the Eagles. But I don't have anything firm as far as the vaccination status goes. Certainly, if the Eagles are without him this weekend, they're already undermanned at the position. So, you'd be looking at Jalen Reagor, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Greg Ward. They would probably elevate either John Hightower. They have Keyshawn Johnson. They have Deon Cain. So they do have options there, but no one who has the production so far of obviously Quez Watkins.
Deon Cain, wasn't he a big kind of recruit coming out of the draft, if I'm not mistaken? Or going into college, one of the two, right?
Yeah, he was a good player at Clemson.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I knew that name sounded familiar. I forgot he was even on the Eagles practice squad. Yeah, maybe it's time for John Hightower to get the call. Have you heard anything about Jalen Hurts' knee? Is he going to be good to go for Sunday?
His ankle?
Sorry. Yeah, my apologies. Ankle. Yeah.
Got me worried. I thought there was something.
No, my apologies. Ankle. Yeah. Ankle.
Given the fact that he was limited in practice 2 weeks ago, he's questionable for the game. I'd be surprised if he's not out there when the Eagles return this week. The Eagles are not practicing today. We're speaking on a Tuesday. They have a walkthrough on a Wednesday. So really Thursday, Friday is where the bulk of the on-field work will come. But I'm operating under the presumption that Jalen Hurts is back this week.
Gotcha. And one more question. Hear anything about the bye week? I think it was 2 years ago, there were some injuries that happened on the bye week. Is there any other injuries or anything else that Eagles fans should be looking forward to tomorrow? Because I know Ciriani is speaking tomorrow. Is there anything that you've heard, but potentially that came up over the bye week?
No, I would really pay attention to the status of Brandon Brooks. Excuse me 1 second here. I'm sorry.
Zach's on dad duty today, so
I apologize. I apologize for that.
No worries at all.
Brandon Brooks' status is going to be the big one to monitor on Wednesday when the Eagles return.
Okay. So last week's win against the Jets didn't really spark a quarterback controversy. I actually thought the Eagles fans were pretty good about it. They didn't kind of all freak out. But would you put last week's win more on Gardner Minshew playing well or Nick Sirianni drawing up a good game plan?
Well, I don't think it's either or. I think it's both, right? I thought Cirianni adjusted well to his quarterback. I thought Minshew. Look, when you complete 80% of your passes, the ball's not on the ground. You're probably moving the chains, and that's precisely what happened. So it wasn't a spectacular performance, but it was an efficient performance. And I think some people believe that too much can be made out of completion percentage, and I get it that there are other metrics that you can use to measure efficiency. But an incomplete pass is no yards, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're completing 80% of the passes, the ball's moving, and you want explosive plays in there, you want chunk yards. I get that, but I thought I give Gardner Minshew credit for completing passes, and I give Nick Sirianni credit for putting in a game plan that allowed Minshew to do that.
Okay, so I hate to do this to the guy the day after his birthday, but I do want to talk some Fletcher Cox here. So I was doing some research about the Eagles cap situation next year. So according to Over the Cap, it would save the Eagles $2 million if they cut Fletcher Cox post June 1st. Mm-hmm. Fletcher Cox hasn't had a sack since week 5 here. What's your opinion on him this season? And if you were to take a best guess, is he back in an Eagles uniform next year?
Well, he needs to be better, and I say that because I've seen him play better. Obviously, I mean one sack. I don't think it's because of the scheme. I think a lot of it has to do with him,
Hmm.
and he must be more productive. He needs to get to the quarterback. As far as next season, it's a fair question to ask. Obviously, there were a lot of discussions about him potentially being moved at the deadline. I'm not quite there yet. I don't know which direction they'll go there. There's the post June 1st possibility, but there's other post June 1st players that they could be looking at as well. And
Hmm.
I think ideally you want Fletcher Cox to be a formidable player in the middle of your defensive line. He's not old yet, right? I mean, he's not. He's still in a period of his career where he can and should be productive. So I think the best case scenario for the Eagles and for Cox is for him to be productive and for that not to be a question. We'll see. He has more sacks in the month of December than any other month in
Good
his
point.
career. So these final 4 games, they need him to step up, and I think he can. We'll see if he will.
Because it reminds me of that 2019 year. He was awesome down the stretch in the play, and this especially in that Seattle Seahawks playoff game. I know the Eagles lost, but he was a force in that one. And I asked about him to kind of transition to this next question is besides Fletcher Cox, is I think he's a huge guy to watch out for down the stretch to potentially kind of bump this team to the playoffs. Is there another guy you kind of got your eye on that's maybe kind of flying under the radar that could maybe give this team a lot of production and help his team make the playoffs?
Well, I don't believe he's flying under the radar, but I would say Devante Smith. Devante Smith is a better player than the production that he's had. And you look at his targets, you look at his receptions during these past 4 weeks, it's not where it needs to be. And I understand they've won 3 of these 4 games, and I understand they're more of a run-first offense. But they need to get Devante Smith the ball. He's getting open. And even when he's not open or doesn't appear to be open, give him a chance to make a contested catch. I think you need to look at that target share at the end of the game, and Devante Smith needs to be higher. So I think over these final 4 weeks, they can get more production from Devante Smith, and they need more production from Devante Smith.
Yeah, I always think back to that Denver catch, like on Patrick Surtain. Like I think they need more of that, and you can see the talents there if you just watch some like all 22s or some recaps on Game Pass. You can see that he's getting open. The ball is just not coming to him. I want to transition to kind of an off-ball question. I don't know if you've ever been asked that, but I was just curious thinking about this last night. What's the word around the building about the job Brian Johnson has done with Jalen Hurts? Is he kind of getting praise? Like what's the word have been around him? He hasn't been literally talked about in the media at all this year.
Yeah, so I spoke to Brian Johnson a few weeks ago. He moved down from the booth to the sideline, and that's a subtle change. It's not something that would get a lot of attention, but it's kind of coincided with this Eagles offensive renaissance. And I do think that's noteworthy there. He has a good relationship, obviously, with Jalen Hurts. I think when he's working directly with Jalen, it frees up Nick and Shane Steichen to focus more on the play calling. So I think he's done a good job. Now it's hard to quantify, obviously, and frankly, it can be hard to qualify too because there's so many cooks in the kitchen, if you will.
Yeah.
But from everything I've heard, he's done a good job with Hurts and with the Eagles quarterbacks.
So according to 538, the Eagles have a 37% chance of making the playoffs. You think that's about right? You think maybe it should be a little higher? What do you think?
Yeah, 37%. That's a little more than 1 in 3, right? I think that's fair. Now, a lot of it, it's going to be fairly dynamic, and as all probabilities are, right?
Yeah.
When the information changes, the probabilities change, and so this week's huge for the Eagles, and it's the old adage that to win 4 games you have to win 1 game, right?
Yeah.
And they need to go at worst 3-1. 4-0 would be ideal for them. I don't think 2-2 gets it, and certainly 1-3 doesn't get it. So the way I'm looking at it, if they could split against Washington, beat the Giants, and they are 8-8 going into week 18, and you kind of let the chips fall where they may, you don't know what Dallas is playing for. But I think it's also plausible for them to win these next 3. And if they win these next 3, things open up quite a bit. Right now, they need some help. They need Minnesota to lose some games, right? Or to lose a game or some games. I think San Francisco, that's gonna be hard to catch up to. I think you're really looking at those 6 and 7 teams. You're looking at Minnesota, you're looking at Washington, you're looking at Atlanta, you're looking at New Orleans. So we'll see what the Eagles do, but I don't think it's implausible for them to make the playoffs. I think certainly what the numbers bear out seems to be accurate.
So they have the best chance to make it, according to 538, of all the 6 and 7 teams in the NFC. So that is something that I thought was interesting. Do you think that the Eagles are in the best position going forward in the NFCs? Maybe I think we can take Dallas Cowboys out of this question because they got their franchise quarterback. Like Washington, New York. Do you think the Eagles are in a better position to succeed going forward than the Giants and Washington football team?
I do. I do. Now, I don't think the Eagles have their long-term quarterback yet. I mean, Jalen Hurts very well might prove he can be that quarterback, but I'm sorry for my son in the background.
No worries, Zach. No worries at all, man.
But I would say that with 3 first-round picks, and I'm saying 3 because I think that Colts pick's going to convey with 3 first-round picks with some young talent. I'm impressed by what Sirianni's done. And look, I'm not really convinced on what I see from the Giants and Washington. So I would say that the Eagles are in the best situation of those teams.
So speaking of Jalen Hurts, I think a lot can change over these next 4 weeks and it might move the needle on this question. So might have to ask you to put this in the offseason. But as of December 14th, today, who do you think the starting quarterback for the Eagles is next year? Jalen Hurts, a rookie quarterback, or another veteran?
If I had to bet on those 3 options, I would say Jalen Hurts. But if I had to say Jalen Hurts to the field, I would say the field. So okay. I think Jalen Hurts will get the plurality there. But I don't think it's going to be a rookie quarterback. I think it'll be Jalen Hurts or a veteran quarterback. And frankly, I think it'd be a bad move for them to go with one of these first-round picks over Jalen Hurts. I'm not.
Kenny Pickett's an Eagles fan, though, Zach.
Yeah, it's a good story to cover. And look, I like what Kenny Pickett's done, but I think it'd be a better situation for them to use the expression "kick the can down the road," go with Hurts for a year, and go into next year's draft, get a year's worth of information on Hurts, and have inventory, in the 2023 draft. You could trade back and collect a pick or picks for 2023. That's the direction I would go. Now it's a different conversation if you're talking about Russell Wilson or you're talking about Deshaun Watson. I think a quarterback like that changes the trajectory of the team and of the organization. But I do think short term, or if I had to guess, I would say Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I know you're a big guy when it comes to the hometowns of players, and Bryce Young is a Philly guy, so that would be kind of a dream come true for you. All right, but last question before you go, Zach. I read your book Underdogs this offseason. It was a great read, some great tidbits in there. From us, it took you a lot of work and a lot of finding out information to write this book. I don't know if I termed that right, but what was kind of maybe your favorite nugget or your favorite aspect of writing this book, from maybe the stories that you found out about Howie and his buddies skipping parties to study college, to study recruits, from the story about Chris Long in the bar? There's so many good nuggets in there. What was your favorite part of writing that book?
Well, I appreciate you asking it. I think my favorite part, frankly, was connecting the dots after the fact. Right? Because when the season was going on, you didn't really see you obviously didn't know what was going to happen. It's much easier to kind of put a story together after the fact. So looking back at all these different pieces and all these different stories and how the team was brought together and certain threads that had to do with it. So I think, there are a lot of nuggets in there. I enjoyed going to Fletcher Cox's hometown of Yazoo City, Mississippi, and I enjoyed going to Carson Wentz's hometown in Bismarck and in Bismarck, and then where he went to college in Fargo. And I was at Malcolm Jenkins's home in Piscataway, New Jersey. So the backstories of a lot of these players and how Jake Elliott got into football, and obviously, but really, I think when covering the Super Bowl and I think listening through the mic'd up version and the audio that you get from the field in the Super Bowl and being able to tell the story of the game that way, that was fun to do because obviously when I'm at the game, I don't have access to that, right?
Yeah.
So I think piecing together that postseason after the fact and the whole season after the fact, that was the best part of it. It was like putting a puzzle together where you know where it ends. So I like that.
You can purchase Zach Berman's book, Underdogs, on Amazon. Would be a great Christmas gift. It's a really good read. I read it this offseason. Zach, you did a terrific job. Thanks for that content. Eagles fans, every Eagles fan in the world should definitely listen to it. That's Zach Berman of The Athletic. Please plug in anything you want the listeners to take a look at.
Great. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll check out The Athletic and I'll give a shout out to my colleagues on Birds with Friends, Shio Kapadia, Bo Wolf, and our outstanding producer, Marissa Morris. We have podcasts every Tuesday, Thursday, and post game. So make sure you check that out.
Zach, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That is Zach Berman of The Athletic. Again, make sure to purchase The Underdogs on Amazon. It's a great book. If you're still have some cravings about that 2017 Eagles run, can't get over it, it's definitely worth the read. It's holiday season, and if you don't know what to get, a gift or a stocking stuffer, well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools. I guarantee you can win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is a leader in the men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. If my math is correct, that's almost 8 million balls. Get 20% off and free shipping using code DOINK at manscaped.com. Manscaped best-selling product is Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower Body Trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body, and Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Preserver Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Get the Performance Package now to receive 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Box Face and the Shed Travel Bag. Get 20% off and free shipping using code DOINK, DOINK, DOINK at manscaped.com. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. This episode is also sponsored by CoolBet. CoolBet is the most transparent gaming company in the world. CoolBet also provides the best odds in Canada with world-class customer service. For first-time users, use deposit code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, DOINK, for a 100% welcome bonus up to $200 when signing up with CoolBet. That's code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, DOINK, and CoolBet will match your first deposit up to $200. Give our friends at CoolBet Canada a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CoolBet Canada. CoolBet. Stay cool and bet responsibly. Thanks for tuning in today to Eagles Talk with Deeg. I will be back tomorrow with the Double Doink podcast. No Eagles Talk with D with Thomas this Thursday, as there's no film to look over. So he'll be back next Thursday. E-Rock, Eagles Twitter fan and Eagles Twitter fan faithful. Everyone knows him. He'll be on the show on next Tuesday. Go Birds. Talk to you later.